All right. Oh, hopefully I have enough
That could be your
time.
camera.
Make sure you subscribe to Mr. E.
Yeah, subscribe, swipe up. Yeah, hey, I do have a YouTube channel.
Scott
So
Eldridge
all you
Jr.
newbies, subscribe.
Scott
Smash that
Eldridge
subscribe
Jr.
button. I think if I get to 100 subscribers, we'll check later. If I get to 100, I get to change my name. So.
I have 1,000. Oh, I can't get you to 100 then.
All right, so linear functions and graphs. We're talking about lines in this unit. We're talking about writing equations for lines. We're talking about drawing lines. We're talking about line of best fit, linear regression. You will need a graphing calculator for linear regression. We're not going to do it today, but at some point in this unit you will need it.
Do we need any other stuff from first?
You do not need any of this stuff from first semester. Semester 2 starts over brand new, so I start with unit 1.
That's a good question.
Yep, so the final for this semester will only be on things we did this semester.
So everything I forgot in the past is useless now.
Well, you're still going to need that stuff.
Can I throw away all my extra stuff?
I mean, if you'd like to throw it away, you can.
Yeah.
I wouldn't,
Full,
I mean,
looks like,
It's
so.
up to you.
Yeah, my folder's kind of.
Alright, so first things first, we're talking about the 3 types of equations we have. We're going to use the first 2 a lot, the last one we won't use very often. First one, point-slope form. Not point-slope, slope-intercept form. It's the one you've done probably about 1,000,000 times in your lifetime. It's one you're going to do 1,000,000 more times in your high school career. Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept, right? You've done that before, we've talked about it. To write an equation in this form, you need both the slope and the y-intercept. That's pretty obvious, I think, if we're talking about it from the equation. But this is the most popular form. It's the form that you've seen the most in your lifetime. It's probably the one you're most comfortable working with, and that's perfectly okay. In terms of point-slope form, that's the second one. It's the other one we're going to use a lot, the other one you're going to see a lot in this unit. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. M is still the slope. x1, y1 is a point on the line. So a lot of times in this unit you're going to see us say, this point is on the line, here's the slope, please write an equation. If that's the case, we're going to use this equation because it's the easiest one to plug that stuff into. Write an equation with this line, or in this form I should say, you need the slope and a point on the line. Crazy.
Fascinating.
Wow.
Last one, standard form. You have seen this form before, right? If you talk about the cover-up method when you're graphing, this is the form that those problems are put into. We are not going to use this a lot. We're not going to ask you to write any equations in standard form. We will give you equations in standard form, but we're not going to ask you to write them in standard form. So in this form, ax plus by equals c. A is always a positive integer. You're always going to start with a positive number. B and c are just integers. It could be positive or negative. Like I said, the first 2, point slope and slope intercept, will be used most often. Yes, ma'am.
Can you go back up to point slope one for
Of course.
Definitely not exactly that. Just do it fast.
I do that. I get excited about math.
Don't hear that too often.
If you stick around me long enough, you will.
Ooh.
I mean, just
Yeah.
Good, Kylie?
Yeah.
hold on. How do you write that slope?
Hey,
Shut up, Ethan.
day 1, man.
Who said you could talk?
Who said you could talk?
Hey,
Aggressive.
Alright, we're good now.
you good? We go to standard form, right? You leave it up there for a second. You guys write that down. You know how we earned like picking our own seats last semester?
I don't think we're gonna do this.
I think we're gonna.
Can we
I don't think we're gonna get there.
As long as
Either-
it's by Ethan.
Everyone else
we're
would.
gonna get sidetracked.
Everyone
Just
else.
put, just
And
put
you
Ethan in the
know-
corner.
Chris, I love you too.
Hallway.
Ethan in the corner.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
Hallway.
Is that 2 math classes in a row that you had? Somebody had a crush on it?
That did not happen. This just kept putting me next to Brielle for no reason.
Alright, so finding slope from those linear equations. First one, slope intercept, y equals mx plus b. We have y equals negative 3x plus 7. What's my slope going to be in that case? Negative 3, right? Y equals mx plus b. So my slope here is negative 3, or negative 3 over 1 would work as well. Negative 3x, however, is not an acceptable answer. That x is not part of it. Alright, negative 3 is the slope. Alright, standard form, 2x plus 3y equals 12. Who's got the slope for this one?
Negative 2.
3.
Negative 2.
I just don't know.
How'd you get negative 2 over 3?
Subtract out x
Oh, yeah.
to make it y equals mx plus b equation.
Good. Get it to say y equals mx plus b, right? Our standard form, that ax plus by equals c, doesn't actually have the slope in it. So we need to make it into one of the other forms that we know has slope. So y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. Slope intercept form now, and I know that negative 2/3 would be my slope. Sweet. Last one, point slope form. Y minus 5 equals 1/2 times x plus 4. Well, point slope form we said was y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So what's my slope going to be in this case? 1/2, right? Right where that m value is, right outside the parentheses. So my slope in this case is 1/2. Now, not last hour, because that's homeroom, 6th hour, I had someone ask me, well, can I do the same thing I did in the second part down here? Can I make it so it says y equals, so I have it in slope intercept form? Sure, I have no problem with that, right? Distribute your 1/2, add 5, it's in slope intercept, and you can see it that way too. Right? Either one works. Cool? Questions?
No.
Comments, concerns right now?
No.
Okay, let's keep going.
Let's do it.
Finding slope from a graph. You guys should be professionals at this already. How do I find slope from a graph?
Y's over 1.
Rise over run. So Wick, what would that be right now?
Wait, like the slope?
That's what we're looking for.
It'd be 4 over 3.
Good. Up 4, to the right 3. So my slope is positive 4/3. Right? If I go down or to the left, that's going to be a negative value. So second one, I'm looking for 2 points. Half of them I go down, 1, 2, 3, 4. To the right 3. So I get negative 4 over 3. Right? Guys, if on a test or on the homework or something you can't tell where points actually hit, please just ask me. Right? We're not trying to trick you into picking the wrong point. That's not part of the process. Please ask. Alright, any questions?
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Finding slope from 2 points. We have a formula for this. You've used this formula before.
Y minus y1 x over x2 minus x1.
Perfect.
Got it.
y2 minus y1 over
What a genius.
x2 minus x1. In other words, the change in y over the change in x. That's our slope formula for 2 points. So first thing I'm going to do, when I do this, I'm going to take and label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. And what I'm going to do is plug it in. Do you have to label your points? Of course not. Right? You can just plug it in if you want. But I like to. So 5 minus negative 3 over negative 2 minus 4. Right? 5 minus negative 3 becomes 8. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. Is that a good answer?
No, simplify.
No, simplified. Negative 4/3. Sweet, we got our slope. Now, question for you. In this case, does it matter which point is x1, y1 and which point is x2, y2?
I guess.
Like, does this have to be x1, y1 just because it's the first point?
No.
The reverse.
It can,
How many people think yes? How many people think no? How many people didn't vote? How many people still haven't raised their hand?
It's no, because otherwise it'd be negative 4 minus negative 2.
It does not matter, and I'll show you why. If I take and I flip these, make this x2, y2, make this x1, y1, and if I try it again, I get negative 3 minus 5 over 4 minus negative 2. This gives me negative 8. This gives me positive 6. I still get negative 4/3. Right? It doesn't matter which point you use as x1, y1 or which point you use as x2, y2, as long as you are consistent. So if you're going to put these 2 values first, perfect. If you're going to put these 2 values first, perfect. Doesn't matter. As long as you're consistent. I can't say this would be my first y that I put out there and this would be my first x. It doesn't work like that. Right? As long as you're consistent with your points, it doesn't matter which one is x1, y1, which one's x2, y2. Alright? Cool? Sweet. Special cases. We have 2 special cases, vertical and horizontal lines. We do have acronyms for them, so you will not hear me use the acronyms very much. I'm not the huge acronym guy in this case, at least. I know Ms. Furman's big on it. I'm not sure what Ms. Jex. So we do teach it. I will show it to you. You can use it. You're more than welcome to. I just don't use them very often. The two of them are VUX and HOY. V-U-X-H-O-Y. The first one, vertical lines. V-U-X. V stands for it's a vertical line. Vertical lines have a slope that is undefined, which is what the U stands for. And then X means their equation is in the form of X equals a constant. So if I'm looking at a vertical line, I'm going to get X equals 2 or X equals negative 13. Those would both be vertical lines because X equals some sort of constant. Alright? That makes sense. See? Alright. Then the other acronym is HOY. So if that one was vertical lines. Hey, before I do that, which way do vertical lines go?
Up and down.
Up and down. Awesome. Which means horizontal lines go left to right. HOY. H-O-Y is the other acronym. H stands for their horizontal lines. O stands for a slope of 0. Right? Horizontal lines have a slope that is equal to 0. And then Y, their equations are in the form Y equals a constant. Alright. Any questions about horizontal, vertical lines? Alright. You have a chance to write it down?
Yeah.
Good? Okay. Writing equation. So, we're going to do a couple problems here. Just writing equations. You'll see this come up more and more. Given the point negative 3, 4 and a slope of 2, we want it both written in point slope form and slope intercept form. Okay. Well, given what we know a point and we know a slope. Which form do you think would be easier to do first? Point slope or slope intercept? Point slope, right? The one on the left, because we don't know a y-intercept right now. There's no way to do that. So we're going to take our point, which I'm going to let be x1, y1, and our slope, so m equals 2, and I'm going to plug it into my point slope form. Well, y minus y1 would be y minus 4 equals, I have a slope of 2, and x minus x1, or x minus negative 3. What happens to x minus negative 3? It becomes plus 3, right? So it becomes x plus 3. And that's point slope form right there. Now, would I mark it wrong if you write x minus negative 3?
No.
Probably not. It's still correct, but this is a cleaner look, a smoother look. So I would change it if I was you, but you do not have to.
Are we gonna have to end up solving
We have to solve it.
that, like in the future?
We're not solving necessarily.
Well, yeah, like,
We're gonna probably graph it at some point, yeah. Alright, then the second part, write an equation in slope intercept form. We still don't have a y-intercept though.
Solve for things with point slope form.
So you can solve for y from the point slope form, right? Just like we did when we were looking for slope. We can take this and solve it out to say y equals mx plus b. First step in doing that is going to be distribute your slope. So distribute the 2. You get y minus 4 equals 2x plus 6. Then I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I get y equals 2x plus 10. And now that's in slope-intercept form. Now, I had a student in 6 hours as well who said, well, what if I find the y-intercept in my head just plotting points? You can do that. Do that. Right? They got 10. Now, be very careful about that. I'd be very leery about doing that because you might be able to mess up very easily. But if you can process that in your brain and find the intercept on your own, go ahead and do that. Okay? Cool? Sweet. Try the next one. Please.
consider that.
I don't think we should just roll right into day 2.
We can skip one.
No.
So,
No
no.
homework for me. What's today?
We have homework.
Is it hard homework? Or is it long homework?
Depends if you determine to be long.
2 pages.
It's one-sided, right?
It is not one-sided.
We had like one
Excuse
unit. I said, God dang it, bro. Oh, we're supposed to.
When you finish yours, you can check your answer with mine on the board. Right, the first part, we're just putting the point slope form. Should be pretty easy, right? Just plug in x1, y1 in, just plugging your slope in. And the second part, solving it. Distribute your 2/3. Subtract your 6. So your y equals 2/3, that's a 3 on the bottom. 2/3 x minus 12. Alright. Any questions on those problems? Alright, then we have to graph 2 lines and we're done. Alright, so last thing we can do, graphing lines. Given the point -3,5 and the slope is -4, graph the line. Pretty simple. We're going to take our point that we're given, -3,5. Plot that out first. Right? -3 up 5. Then take my slope. My slope's -4. So does that mean I just go down 4?
Negative 4 over 1.
Over 1, right? -4 over 1. So down 4 to the right 1. Then you take out your trusty straight edge. Draw in a better line than I just.
You don't need straight edges.
Right? Take your straight edge out and draw in your line.
Pretty straight line.
That one was pretty easy, right?
That was a horrible line.
Okay. The next one. Y minus 3 equals 2 times x plus 4. What form is that given to me in?
Point.
Point slope. So I should be able to take both a slope out of there and a point out of there. Well, my slope I know is going to be 2. That's y minus y1 x times x, m times x minus x1. Okay. So I can take a slope of 2 out. I can also take a point out of there. I should have an x and a y value. Well, if I'm looking here, I'm trying to take out x1 and y1. What's my x1 value going to be? Anybody? Anyone know? 4? If it's positive 4, try and plug that in. I get x minus 4. Is that what I want? No, I want -4. So I plug -4 into there. I'm going to get x minus -4, which would be x plus 4. That's what I want. So we're basically taking the opposites of these two numbers. So y minus 3, I'm going to take a 3 out of there for my y1. Right? If you're ever doubting, if you're questioning that you took out the right point, plug it back in, see if it comes out to the same thing. So plot that, -4, 3, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Draw in your line. That's it. That's all we got for today. Pretty easy. Any questions overall? Alright, homework time. Swipe up, subscribe.